Hello everyone, and welcome to our fascinating journey into the world of NEET biology. Today, we are diving deep into Chapter 11, Locomotion and Movement, focusing specifically on a crucial and often challenging topic, disorders of the muscular and skeletal system. Understanding these conditions is not just vital for your exams but also for appreciating the intricate balance required for our bodies to move freely and without pain. We'll explore this topic across 4 levels of depth: easy, medium, hard, and hardest, ensuring you build a strong foundation and then master even the most complex aspects. So, let's get started and unravel the mysteries behind what can go wrong with our amazing locomotor system. Let's begin our exploration with the basics, making sure everyone has a clear understanding of the most common disorders affecting our muscles and bones. Ready for the easy level? On this slide, we are looking at common disorders of the muscular system. First, myasthenia gravis an autoimmune condition where your body mistakenly attacks the connections between your nerves and muscles, leading to muscle weakness. It's like a faulty switch, making it hard for messages to pass through. Next, we have muscular dystrophy which isn't just one disorder but a group of genetic conditions where muscles progressively weaken and degenerate. Duchenne muscular dystrophy, or DMD, is a well-known, severe type, often seen in young boys. Imagine your muscles slowly wasting away. Lastly, TENI refers to rapid, sustained muscle spasms. This often happens when there's too little calcium in your body fluids, making your nerves overactive. All these conditions significantly impact a person's ability to move and perform daily tasks, causing pain and discomfort. Now, let's turn our attention to the skeletal system and its common ailments. First up is arthritis a broad term for inflammation of the joints. This causes pain, stiffness, and swelling, making movement difficult. There are many types, but two common ones are osteoarthritis, often called wear and tear arthritis, where the protective cartilage in your joints breaks down with age. Then there's rheumatoid arthritis, an autoimmune condition where your own immune system attacks the lining of your joints, causing chronic inflammation. Next, we have osteoporosis an age-related disorder where your bones lose mass and become porous, making them fragile and much more prone to fractures. It's particularly common in older women. Finally, gout is a painful form of arthritis caused by the accumulation of uric acid crystals in the joints, most commonly affecting the big toe, leading to sudden, severe attacks of pain. Understanding these conditions helps us appreciate the importance of bone and joint health. Alright, it's time to test your foundational knowledge with a few practice questions. Take a moment to read each question carefully and choose the best answer. Which disorder involves progressive degeneration of skeletal muscles due to genetic defects? What condition can result from low calcium ions in body fluid? And finally, what disorder is characterized by inflammation of joints, causing pain and stiffness? Pause the video, think it through, and then we'll review the answers together. Good luck! Great job with the basics. Now, let's elevate our understanding and delve a bit deeper into the causes, mechanisms, and specific types of these muscular and skeletal disorders. Welcome to the medium level. At the medium level, let's explore muscular disorders with more detail. Myasthenia gravis is an autoimmune disease where your immune system mistakenly produces antibodies that attack the acetylcholine receptors at the neuromuscular junction. These receptors are crucial for nerve impulses to trigger muscle contraction. When they are blocked or destroyed, nerve signals can't effectively reach the muscles, leading to fluctuating muscle weakness, especially in the eyes, face, and throat, which often worsens with activity. For muscular dystrophy we specifically look at Duchenne muscular dystrophy, or DMD. This is an X-linked genetic disorder caused by mutations in the gene responsible for producing dystrophin, a vital protein that helps maintain the structure and integrity of muscle fibers. Without functional dystrophin, muscle fibers become fragile, leading to progressive weakness and wasting. And for **10***, remember it's primarily caused by hypocalcemia, meaning abnormally low calcium levels in the blood, which makes nerve cells overly excitable, resulting in sustained muscle spasms. Moving on to skeletal disorders, let's differentiate between the major forms of arthritis. Osteoarthritis, often called the wear and tear arthritis, is a degenerative joint disease. Here, the smooth cartilage that cushions the ends of your bones gradually breaks down over time. This loss of cartilage causes bones to rub directly against each other, leading to pain, stiffness, and reduced flexibility. It commonly affects weight-bearing joints like the knees, hips, and spine. In contrast, **rheumatoid arthritis is a chronic autoimmune disorder. In this condition, your own immune system attacks the synovium, which is the delicate lining of your joints. This attack triggers widespread inflammation, causing swelling, pain, and eventually can lead to severe joint damage and deformity. Unlike osteoarthritis, RA often affects multiple joints symmetrically, meaning if it affects your left hand, it's likely to affect your right hand too. Now, let's focus on osteoporosis and gout. Osteoporosis is a condition where your bones become significantly weaker and more brittle due to a decrease in bone mass and density. Imagine your bones becoming porous, like a sponge with larger holes. This makes them highly susceptible to fractures, even from minor falls or stresses. Key risk factors include aging, being female, especially postmenopause due to declining estrogen levels, and insufficient calcium or vitamin D intake. As for gout, it's a very painful form of inflammatory arthritis. It's caused by the accumulation and deposition of uric acid crystals within a joint, most commonly the big toe. Uric acid is a natural waste product from the breakdown of purines found in certain foods and naturally in our bodies. When uric acid levels become too high, these sharp crystals can form, triggering sudden, severe attacks of pain, redness, and swelling. Understanding these mechanisms is key to both prevention and treatment. Alright, time for some medium-level practice questions to solidify your understanding. Read each question carefully. Which disorder involves the immune system attacking acetylcholine receptors? What protein is defective in Duchenne muscular dystrophy? What's the wear and tear form of arthritis called? Which condition features decreased bone mass and density? And what substance accumulates in joints to cause gout? Take your time, pause the video, and answer these questions. This is an excellent way to check your progress and reinforce what you've learned. Let's see how you do. Fantastic work. Now, prepare to dive deeper. At the hard level, we'll analyze the complex pathogenesis, genetic underpinnings, and detailed mechanisms behind these disorders. Get ready for a more challenging exploration. Welcome to the hard level. Let's start with a detailed look at myasthenia gravis, AMG, ****. This isn't just a simple weakness, it's a sophisticated autoimmune disorder specifically targeting the postsynaptic membrane of the neuromuscular junction, or NMJ. The body produces IgG autoantibodies that either block, alter, or destroy the nicotinic acetylcholine receptors, the NACHRs. This significantly reduces the number of functional receptors available to bind with acetylcholine released from the nerve, thus impairing the transmission of the nerve impulse to the muscle. Clinically, this manifests as fluctuating skeletal muscle weakness, which characteristically worsens with sustained activity and improves with rest. It predominantly affects crucial muscles like those controlling eye movement, facial expression, swallowing, and even respiration, making it a potentially life-threatening condition. Diagnosis involves specific antibody tests, electrophysiological studies like EMG, and the classic tensilon test, which temporarily improves symptoms by inhibiting acetylcholine breakdown. This intricate mechanism highlights the precision of our immune system even when it misfires. Now, let's explore the genetic basis of muscular dystrophies and the dynamic process of bone remodeling. Duchenne muscular dystrophy, DMD, is a classic example of an X-linked recessive disorder primarily affecting males. It's caused by mutations, often large deletions, in the DMD gene located on the X chromosome. This gene is responsible for producing dystrophin, a crucial protein that acts as a structural link between the actin cytoskeleton inside the muscle fiber and the extracellular matrix outside. Without functional dystrophin, muscle fibers become highly susceptible to contraction-induced injury, leading to progressive muscle fiber necrosis, which is then replaced by non-functional fibrous and adipose tissue. This results in the characteristic progressive weakness and muscle wasting. On the skeletal side, let's understand bone remodeling ***. This is a continuous, lifelong process involving two key cell types, osteoclasts, which are responsible for resorbing or breaking down old bone tissue, and osteoblasts, which synthesize and deposit new bone matrix. In healthy adults, these processes are balanced. However, in osteoporosis this balance is disrupted, leading to either increased osteoclastic activity or decreased osteoblastic activity, resulting in a net loss of bone mass and density. Let's delve into the pathogenesis of arthritis and gout. Rheumatoid arthritis, RA, is a systemic autoimmune disease characterized by chronic inflammation of the synovial membrane. The immune system, particularly T cells and macrophages, becomes hyperactive, releasing a cascade of pro-inflammatory cytokines such as TNF-alpha and interleukin-1. These cytokines drive the proliferation of synovial cells, forming a destructive tissue called pannus, which invades and erodes cartilage and bone. This leads to the characteristic symmetrical polyarthritis, morning stiffness, and can also have systemic effects on other organs. In contrast, osteoarthritis, OA, is a degenerative, non-inflammatory joint disease. Here, the primary issue is the failure of chondrocytes, the cartilage cells, to effectively repair damaged articular cartilage. This leads to its gradual loss, resulting in bone-on-bone friction, subchondral bone sclerosis, and the formation of osteophytes or bone spurs. Finally, gout is fundamentally a metabolic disorder. It's caused by hyperuricemia, meaning abnormally high levels of uric acid, which is the end product of purine metabolism. When uric acid concentrations exceed their solubility limit, monosodium urate crystals precipitate and deposit in joints, triggering an intense inflammatory response, leading to acute gouty attacks. Understanding these distinct mechanisms is crucial for differential diagnosis and targeted treatment strategies. Alright, time to challenge your deeper understanding with these hard-level practice questions. In myasthenia gravis, which specific component do autoantibodies primarily target? Which genetic disorder results from the absence or dysfunction of the dystrophin protein? How do osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis differ in their primary pathogenesis? Which hormones decline significantly contributes to osteoporosis in postmenopausal women? Which cells are predominantly responsible for bone resorption? What specific crystals are deposited in joints in gout? And finally, what condition is indicated by rapid muscle spasms linked to very low blood calcium levels? Pause the video, apply your knowledge, and choose the best answers. These questions require a solid grasp of the underlying mechanisms. You've tackled the hard level with determination. Now, for the ultimate challenge. The hardest level will push your competitive edge, offering engineering insights, advanced mechanisms, and the intricate details crucial for any ET success. Are you ready to master the complexities? Welcome to the hardest level, where we explore the most intricate details of neuromuscular junction disorders. Beyond myasthenia gravis, AMG, which targets postsynaptic notches, we encounter **Lambert-Eaton myasthenic syndrome, LEMS, ***. This is another autoimmune disorder, but here, the antibodies target presynaptic voltage-gated calcium channels, VGCCs. This impairment in calcium influx reduces the release of acetylcholine from the nerve terminal, leading to muscle weakness. Interestingly, weakness in LEMS often improves with repeated muscle activity, a phenomenon called facilitation, unlike AMG. LEMS is frequently paraneoplastic, meaning it's associated with underlying cancers, particularly small cell lung cancer. Then there's botulism caused by a potent neurotoxin produced by Clostridium botulinum star. This toxin specifically cleaves proteins essential for vesicle fusion and acetylcholine release at the presynaptic terminal, resulting in severe flaccid paralysis. Understanding these distinct presynaptic and postsynaptic targets is critical for differential diagnosis and treatment. Let's dive deeper into muscular dystrophies, focusing on genetics and the cutting edge of gene therapy. The **DMD gene responsible for Duchenne and Becker muscular dystrophies, is one of the largest human genes, spanning 79 exons. In DMD, frameshift mutations typically lead to the absence of functional dystrophin, resulting in a severe phenotype. In contrast, Becker muscular dystrophy often involves in-frame deletions, producing a truncated but partially functional dystrophin, leading to a milder disease. Dystrophin's critical role is to link the actin cytoskeleton to the sarcolemma via the dystroglycan complex, providing structural stability to muscle fibers during contraction. The absence of this link makes muscles vulnerable to damage. Current therapeutic advances are groundbreaking. Exon skipping uses antisense oligonucleotides to skip mutated exons, restoring the reading frame and allowing for the production of a truncated but functional dystrophin. Gene replacement therapy employs adeno-associated viruses, or AAVs, to deliver microdystrophin genes into muscle cells. And the promise of CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing offers the potential for precise correction of the underlying genetic defects. These represent significant strides in combating these devastating genetic disorders. Now, let's dissect the complex immunopathology and systemic impact of rheumatoid arthritis, RA, ***. Genetic predisposition, particularly involving HLA-DRB1 alleles, combined with environmental triggers like smoking or certain infections, can initiate the autoimmune cascade. This leads to the activation of CD4 plus T cells, which in turn activate B cells to produce autoantibodies such as rheumatoid factor and anti-citrullineated protein antibodies, or anti-CCP. Crucially, activated macrophages release a barrage of pro-inflammatory cytokines, including TNF-alpha, interleukin-1, and interleukin-6. This cytokine storm drives the chronic inflammation of the synovial membrane, causing it to proliferate and form a destructive tissue called pannus. The pannus then invades and erodes both articular cartilage through the action of metalloproteinases and subchondral bone by activating osteoclasts. Beyond the joints, RA is a systemic disease manifesting in various extraarticular features. These can include rheumatoid nodules in the skin, inflammation of the eyes like sclerites, pulmonary fibrosis in the lungs, pericarditis affecting the heart, and even vasculitis affecting blood vessels. Understanding this intricate interplay of genetics, immunology, and inflammation is essential for developing targeted therapies, such as biologic drugs that specifically block these pro-inflammatory cytokines, significantly improving patient outcomes. Let's conclude our deepest dive with advanced concepts in osteoporosis and gout. For osteoporosis diagnosis relies on a dual energy X-ray absorptiometry or DXA scan to measure bone mineral density or BMD. A T-score of -2.5 or lower indicates osteoporosis. Treatment involves both anti-resorptive agents, which inhibit osteoclast activity. Examples include bisphosphonates like alendronate and denosumab, a monoclonal antibody targeting RANKL. On the other hand, anabolic agents like teriparatide, a recombinant parathyroid hormone, stimulate osteoblast activity to form new bone. Beyond osteoporosis, other metabolic bone diseases include rickets in children and osteomalacia in adults both characterized by defective bone mineralization due to severe vitamin D deficiency or impaired phosphate metabolism. And Paget's disease a localized disorder of bone remodeling, resulting in enlarged but structurally weak and disorganized bone. For gout chronic hyperuricemia can lead to recurrent acute attacks and the formation of tophi, which are visible deposits of urate crystals in soft tissues and joints. Acute attacks are managed with NSAIDs, colchicine, or corticosteroids. Long-term management involves urate-lowering therapies like allopurinol, a xanthine oxidase inhibitor that reduces uric acid production, or probenecid, which increases uric acid excretion. This comprehensive understanding is vital for competitive exams like NEET. Alright, it's time for the ultimate test of your NEET preparation with the first set of hardest level questions. Read each question carefully, analyze the options, and apply your in-depth knowledge. Which neuromuscular disorder features antibodies targeting presynaptic voltage-gated calcium channels? What is the gene therapy for DMD using antisense oligonucleotides to restore the reading frame called? In RA, which cells primarily release pro-inflammatory cytokines? What does a DXA T-score of -3.0 indicate? And which class of drugs primarily inhibits osteoclast activity in osteoporosis treatment? Pause the video now, challenge yourself, and select the most accurate answers. These questions are designed to mimic the complexity you'll face in competitive exams. Let's continue with the second set of hardest level questions to truly solidify your expertise. Chronic hyperuricemia can lead to soft tissue deposits of urate crystals known as what? Which drug is a xanthine oxidase inhibitor used for long-term gout management? What is defective bone mineralization due to vitamin D deficiency in adults medically termed? Marfan syndrome, a genetic disorder, primarily affects which specific connective tissue protein? And finally, how does botulinum toxin induce muscle paralysis? Take your time, consider all the nuances, and select the best option for each question. Mastering these concepts will give you a significant advantage in your NEET journey. Remember, precision and a deep understanding are key to excelling in biology. And that brings us to the end of our in-depth exploration of disorders of the muscular and skeletal system. We've journeyed from the basics to the most advanced concepts, covering everything from common ailments to intricate molecular mechanisms and cutting-edge therapies. We hope this comprehensive session has not only clarified your doubts but also ignited a deeper passion for biology. For more such engaging and detailed educational content, along with practice questions and personalized learning paths, visit our platform at synapse.omaps.in. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for regular updates and more NEET preparation resources. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep pushing towards your goals. Thank you for joining us today.